Okay. Sammy, I trust you're ready, buddy. Oh wait, don't have it right now. I think we're good.
Okay, are we, you know, we're so off when we push that live button. Did you push it already?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
we're probably,
I think
people can hear
we're
us.
probably live.
I think we are too.
All right, let's go ahead and say, live from downtown Houston, it's the Ginger Snap Wednesday evening show with our co-host, Sammy Little. Sammy, I see you got your eye patch off. You must be feeling mucho better. Thank
Hey,
you.
Sammy. Good to see you. Hi, you guys. My
Hey,
name's Ginger
Ginger.
Cook. Hey,
Look at the camera, not at me.
yeah, it's so hard. I mean, John's sitting over there. I gotta say that to you guys. You know, you'll see me looking over there all the time at John, and I can see him, and he's always laughing and smiling, and he cracks me up, you know. Sometimes I think it came up, if you've been watching our live shows, someone says, oh, well, you know, John's being kind of mean to you. No, he's not. You can't see his face, but when he says some of these things to me, his face is hysterically funny. We find each other very funny. Just reassuring you, nobody's dissing anybody here, okay? Just letting you know that. I'm kind of a woman's liver. I don't put up with that stuff. So everything said tonight is in good fun. Who knows what we're going to say? This is sort of a, this is a very brave thing to do because, you know, it's hard to know what'll come out of my mouth, you know, but I try to just sort of zip it up most of the time and, you know, be conservative. But what we're doing here tonight, in case you wandered in, was we're going to be painting something. This is a Ginger Snap Wednesday. And if you caught our live show today, we did a kind of fly on the wall. I had a private lesson that was an emergency lesson. They texted me late yesterday afternoon. Our website was down.
It's nothing like having an emergency art lesson.
This was an emergency art lesson. David had committed to do to donate a painting for a fundraiser that he's a member of. This is a Rotary Club, and they do a lot of charity works. And he sucked me in a couple years ago to give some paintings away. I did that a couple times for him, but you know, he's taken some lessons from me over the years, and he could have done it because the lesson was actually on our website. I'll show you what it was. We were doing the Van Gogh. I'm going to show you that we were doing the Van Gogh stone bottles, which is one of the lessons on our website. That's part palette knife and part brush. Okay, and so he was doing pretty well, but David's kind of. We love you, David. You're kind of slow, right? But you know what? If you drop a cookie on David's floor, you could leave it there a week and come back, and it would be okay.
And you can still eat it.
You can still eat it.
Absolutely.
I mean, his house is so perfect. It's just crazy, you know. And but then he lives there by himself. He's the only one that's messing it up, you know. Not that. Now, in all fairness, John doesn't mess anything up. I'm the messy person.
I was about to, but I was going to stay out of it.
Yeah, no, I'm the messy person in this group. In fact, I remember my mother quoting me, my adopted mother, saying something about, you cannot pay people enough money to pick up after you. You must learn how to pick up after yourself. I remember these quotes, you know. And basically, you know, she's right. You can't pay anybody to pick up. It's terrible to live in a mess because you're right. No one wants to come pick it up. Whoa, so sad. Whoa. All right, so.
Hey, I do have a picture of David here.
Oh, do you have a picture of David? You guys want to see his finished picture? I want you to see his finished painting. I'm so excited about this. This was we finished it. He had to go have a little smoke and a little restroom break and some coffee, and then he came back and we took another 30 minutes. And I mean, he did it. I didn't. So John's going to show you his painting. It's really nice. And there he is. All right, now that is so cool, isn't it? That's his lesson. Here's his stone bottles. And he bought this cool frame, and that's going to be, he'll do a matte varnish on it.
Yeah, you definitely want
to
matte on
It's just sitting on the frame, kind of. His isn't framed yet because he has to let it dry overnight. Then he'll do 2 coats of matte varnish. And the reason he's going to do matte is because this is kind of an old-timey picture done originally 1800s. And let me hold mine up again. You see, it's kind of old-timey, so you wouldn't want a shiny varnish on this. You'd want it kind of matte finish. You know, it's what you'd want. So anyway, he did that. And if you guys kind of like that, really, you can run over to our website, gingercooklive.gallery. That's one of our many lessons. And if you just want to paint that, then you can get a week for $9.95. And then this last week, this was our coffee grinder series with the bag of coffee. And again, this is kind of an old-timey picture. Probably would matte this, not matte this, but varnish this matte. Now look how cute these guys look together. See? Sorry. Look how cute these guys look together. I mean, I think that we have sort of a series of paintings that look kind of cool like that, and this is what my adopted mother would call very neutral pictures. If you're wanting to sell artwork, if you guys are thinking about you'd like to just, and it's certainly okay if you paint something of mine, I want you to sell it. I want you to be able to buy more art supplies, more art lessons. Go ahead and sell it. We don't care.
Just not prints.
Just not prints, not prints. But here's the thing, or licensing out for pillows or throws or something, because we have the licensing rights to those. But here's the deal: people are more likely to buy neutrals.
The brown tone.
As much as you like flowers and all the colorful stuff, and everybody likes all my color stuff, people really like neutrals. Just going to throw that out to you. I'm kind of chatting a little bit because I want to give people a chance to catch up. Remind everybody that if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you should do so now, and make sure you hit that little bell thing underneath so that you get a notice of when we go live. Like today, it was a totally impromptu live thing. Somebody made the comment that we call this reality Art TV, or RAS, Art Studio, Reality Art Studio 101, Season 1, and today was Episode 3. And one lady wrote a comment already on it, and she said, I liked it, but I liked it when you just paint and tell stories. And I like to tell you stories, and I'll tell you some more stories tonight. People kind of miss the stories, so we'll keep the stories.
That's not what RAS is all about.
Yeah, but what RAS is about is that just whatever I'm doing during the day, if we turn the cameras on, whether it's teaching somebody something or I'm just working out some design problems or just working on a painting, you just get to be like a fly in the wall in the studio and just see what we're doing. Sometimes John's on the phone, sometimes he's not. Somebody may come over. It's just hang out with Ginger, It's kind of, hang out with me for the day. We'll all just be good friends, and, you'll hear our innermost secrets because
you're a fly on the wall.
You're a fly on the wall, anything could happen. That being
we have one question over here from Spar XX2438.
I love it. John's he's over here waving like it's his question. Way back. Hi, John. All right. Who asked this?
Spar XX2438 would like to know.
Yes.
This may be a stupid question, but why is it important to do 2 layers of varnish?
I don't know. That's what they tell you to do. They want 2 layers. Basically,
they want to sell more varnish.
Here's a good idea. For instance, like when you're varnishing, we have videos up on that. This is this was a painting I would do with shiny varnish. This week's lesson. It would have been tomorrow's, but our website was down yesterday, so it's going to take John a little bit to load it. It takes so many hours to load these things.
And with our site being down.
With our site being down, the process is going on. So this will be available for our members on Friday. Our members of GingerCookLive.gallery get a new different lesson every week. And you see all these beautiful, bright, beautiful colors? I would varnish this with a shiny varnish. But here's the thing. When you're varnishing, okay, so what the secret is, instead of going up and down and back and forth, which is just kill me now, don't do that. Please don't do that. Even though others may have told you to do it and it's on the bottle, don't do it. I promise you, don't do it. Do it the way I show you, which is use the same size brush basically and follow your brush strokes. Like on here, I'm going backwards, but follow your brush strokes so that it's almost like you're repainting the painting again. But what happens is, if you go over, here's a big dark area. I'm going to change hands. Here's a big dark area right here. See that? If you keep going over that, because you get mesmerized, because I know some of you do that, you're just going, I'm 3 or 4 coats. If this is good, I'll do this. What will happen is, this can turn white on you, like a glazed glass, and you're panicking. I hate to say the word screwed, but you're screwed then, because you've got to paint it over, because that doesn't come off. So that being said, you do, and I don't want any water, even though they say I use a medium in varnish, I don't put any water with the varnish, but I varnish flat, and I follow I'm following the brush strokes, not big one long strokes, right? And then I don't talk on the phone or any of those things. Just lay it flat and go around, do the whole painting. Now, one of the reasons you want to do 2 coats is if you think you've missed a place, and it's easy to think that because you need really good light to varnish, and you need kind of some focus. And, I varnish a little too fast. Slower is better. I really varnish too fast. I used to have a studio assistant that used to varnish my stuff, and I liked it. The way she did it much better than me. I showed her how, and she was much better at following directions than me.
Ooh, Sammy might get a new job.
Yeah, varnishing. Yeah, John would be slow and methodical and Sammy would do that. Very slow and methodical. But here's the thing. If you miss a spot, and you may think so, because varnish dries differently on different sections of the painting, rather than risk getting a white spot from going over it, let it dry and then do a second time. And here's what will happen. If you miss something the first time, you'll catch it the second time. Good reason to do 2 coats.
That's what
all
I
right?
was saying.
Yeah,
what about
good.
a spray varnish? Is it okay to do a spray varnish? This is from Moxie. Is it okay to go 1 horizontal coat and 1 vertical coat?
Yeah, when sprays you go 1 horizontal, 1 vertical, and I just have to say that I was talking to my daughter Cinnamon the other day, and she really, I know what works, and I rarely use a spray. I just do the either Liquitex medium or matte medium or gloss medium and varnish. But if you get into the sprays, there's a lot of different sprays, and some of them are alcohol based, some of them are removable, some of them are not. The varnish that we use when you brush it on, the Palomar varnishes, the medium and varnish, what happens is it molecularly binds to the paint and protects the surface, even if it's matte. The gloss brings the color back out. It pops it out like it's wet. And also you can mix varnish into your paint. If it's a medium and varnish, you can add a bit to your paint too.
Lynn would like to know, when do you do gloss versus matte?
Well, we just talked about that.
It's basically the subject
I just talked about it. A lot of it's personal preference. But the thing of it is on something like this, which is old-timey, right? When I say that this sort of an ancient, I would use matte, something that I wanted to have it look kind of old, right?
Yeah.
I would use a matte, but something on the fancy flowers or on that dress, I would use a shine. But some people just hate shiny stuff. And that's okay. It is a personal preference, and that's okay. But I gloss. I'm most of the time I use gloss. All right. So here's what we're going to paint today, and we got to get with it, you guys. So I want to get with it. I was so happy with the one I did for David today. I went up and looked at another Vincent Van Gogh. Can you plop down here on the table here, right?
Gotcha.
And I found this. Isn't this cool? It's a couple of bottles and some. These were the first Crocks. I'm telling you what. This is BC, before Crocks, right? and they're not quite a wooden shoe. They're sort of a fabric shoe. And then he's got this pot, this bottle, and so forth. And what I've done is I've painted a canvas dark brown, and just to facilitate things, I'm going to show you how we're going to trace this on, and we will have the traceable probably sometime tomorrow, not tonight, but we'll have it tomorrow under resources on our gingercooklive.gallery website. We'll have the traceable if you want to trace it on, and because I think what we're going to cover tonight is kind of how you do stuff like that, okay? And incidentally, before I forget, this is our birthday giveaway lesson. We had, 35 people yesterday, take advantage of the free download.
You got 6 days left.
We have 6 days left, so if you are enjoying doing that, and we'll show you, we've been getting a few back, is now that you know how to be friending with me on Facebook, ginger.cook.92 is my Facebook deal. And you can then ask for friends. I go friend, happy friend, and then you can tag me with your stuff. Love to see it. And occasionally I sew it up on our Pinterest board. We have a studio board, and then you might show your artwork on our show. So we're going to show someone's tonight. In the meantime, I went to the store. Let me just get the paints out of the way for a minute. Went to the store. Went to Michael's. And I found some Martha Stewart transfer paper. I have no idea if it's any good or not, but I bought some. They certainly were proud of it. Did your mother ever say that? They were proud of it?
Oh, wait, before you get too involved. Lady Wolfgang would like to know, ask about the barn from last night. I'm really curious about the changes.
All right. Well, look at the barn from last night. I'm sorry to say we did nothing about it because we had an emergency lesson from David at 1 o'clock. So all day long we were working on David's problem. So tomorrow I will work on the barn, and then I will show you the changes next week. Sorry. Could not do any changes. All right.
Not
so
yet.
This is all one big sheet, and that's too
You
big.
got your scissors? I had them earlier.
Do you have them? You probably have them then. I think what I want to do is just like this. Yay, look at that. It's perfect. Look at that. Where the folds are, look at that, John. Just cut it right like that. Just cut it right like that for me. Okay, so while John's doing that, I want you to know that I've just got a little 8x10 canvas, which I've dried and painted a dark brown color. Okay? And I've got to find some tape here. And we're hoping this will work. And one of the things that John did, he just printed out for me a little, it's kind of almost just a little
That's
a reverse black and white. So I could see this, a reverse black and white. And let me just try something. And remember, whenever you're tracing something on, it's good to use a pen. Now let's see. Normally I would have put a piece of cardboard in here. Do we have that from the other one? Remember that cardboard we used to have? Well, I guess I'm not going to need it. This is working. Look here, you guys. Can you see this? See?
Oh, that's real soft, yeah.
And it's working. So, but normally I would put like a piece of cardboard back here, or make it at least stiffer.
5x7 board.
Yeah. Wendy said that's what she uses. She comes in with a 5x7 board, and I'm just going to mist the back of this and tighten this up. Do you guys ever do that? Just sort of tighten up the drum on your picture. And if I really wanted it tight, I would use hot water. Okay, so I'm doing that. Now I'm going to just, but I can see this is going to work. Those of you who remember what the old carbon paper was like and the type, when you were typing, you had carbon paper. The problem with using something like carbon paper, I guess they still sell it, is that it's kind of messy and smeary. But these graphite papers are designed to not be too messy. Like for instance, where'd it go? Over here. So it's very hard to erase. All right. So I'm just going to tape on the paper a little bit like that. And someone else, this is, if you guys are sewers, if we have any sewers in the group, people that sew, seamstresses, sewers, as opposed to seeds or something, sewers. Why isn't that sticking to the paper? Wow, got the right side. Okay, so you may remember that when you have to do a plaid, like for instance, like my shirt, you know how on a seam the plaids match up? Well, how they do that is they have little notches, and then you line up the notches. And what you can do is you can create little notches. I'm going to tell you right now that the tape is not sticking to this paper at all. Wow.
That must be some good paper.
It doesn't want to stick. See, look at that.
It's a wax paper?
Well, but it's wax on this side, but I don't know what they put on this side, but the tape isn't sticking. That's just kind of sad. All right, I'm going to give myself a little room to at least put the, stick my picture down. All right, like that. That'll stick. And the reason you want to is you don't want this moving all over the place when you're doing it, okay? But again, what you can do is you can make a little notch here on the side of your, say you could come up here like this and then come over here on the canvas and make a notch, see what I'm doing? Or, something like that, so that you could, if you had to, on something complicated, you could line it back up. That's an old sewing trick. All right, so I think I'm pretty good there, and I'll take another little piece and do it right here. And we'll just do this real quick. And get down to the business of painting it. All right, so here we go. I'm going to come around here like this. Here's my bottle. Okay, that worked pretty well. And the reason you want to do a pen, and I'm going to put my glasses on so I could possibly see, is that you can then tell where you've been. All right, and otherwise, you can get very confused. And if you were using the same picture over again, then you would use a different color pen to do it again. Now this would not be a particularly hard piece to draw on. I'm just for the expedience of tonight, I wanted to be sure and do that. So there's this little jug right here, coming back here, some sort of little funky handle here. This is an interesting little, this wasn't, no offense, but this, Vincent, we love him, but this was not, it was done more loose. Let me put it that way. It was loose and probably very fast and thick. He did paintings every day. So the reason I'm doing this is because of the shoes. I was worried for you for the shoes, and I thought, well, the easiest thing to do would be to put the do this with the shoes so that you would have it. Now let me see, is it tracing it on? Well, it is and it isn't. Well, John, it is and it isn't. It is, let's see. No. It worked for some of it, but it's not working for this. And I think it's because this is too wet.
It's still too wet on that side?
It's too wet on this side. All right, so that's okay. So we're going to go to Plan B. Do you like Plan B?
I love Plan B. What's
I like Plan B. So we're going to just, we're just going to ignore all that. For $7, I would have hoped it would work a little better, but that's all right. Okay, not, who me? We're not complaining, right? So let's take a little bit of, that's just wet there, and I think that's why it didn't want to do it. but it would do it with chalk. So I'm going to just take some chalk here like this and chalk the back of this paper. I'm going to, when in doubt, chalk it. You know what I mean? So this is good. You can learn as much about what doesn't work as what does work. And sometimes when you're painting something and it's not coming out, don't beat yourself up about it, all right? Not that it wouldn't be beautiful. I'm sure everything you do comes out. But if by any chance something you didn't come out, what you've learned is a way not to do it. And that can be as important as how to do something as how not to do something. Because every time you try something and it doesn't quite work, you can just check that off as a way not to do it, all right? So that being said, my little speech about the notches, I wonder if that'll work. I'm just going to use my finger and just do all this. Everybody says, why do you have paint all over your hands? Well, because I do stuff like this. But, you didn't. If you were watching David today, he was licking his fingers and then doing his picture. He's been eating his paint, but he's a grown-up, so just didn't want to tell him. David, you're eating your paint. Did you notice that? Probably not the best plan you ever had today.
It takes it back to childhood finger painting, and you're playing with the Play-Doh and eating it.
I know. Well, we got some, yeah, so I'm going to shake off the excess. Now I'm going to bring this back over here like this. Let's see, do I have a notch I could line up? I might here. Look at that. See, Ginger's not dumb here, lining up a notch like that. Let's just see if it works. Okay. Yeah, that's working. All right, friends, that's working.
So plan B is chalk.
Plan B is always chalk.
And what kind of chalk is that?
That's just a soft new pastel, but I think any pastel chalk would be fine. That's called new pastel chalk. They're about $1 a stick. And some light color. Now the problem is my little speech about, you heard that, my little speech about, using a different colored pen. I do not have a different colored pen. So now I have to remember where I went. As I talk to you, I can remember. See, I'm holding it up. Oh, God. I think it liked this part. Remember that? It was doing fine here. And we've got this, this is an interesting handle because they've got the handle facing us, which is an interesting design interest. I like that. Like what? Like this right here. This is where this ends right here.
Oh, good.
So let's see. How does this going? Oh, look, it's tracing on beautifully. Look at that. Ah, yes, yes, yes.
So it sounds to me like the best way to go is really the new pastel chalk.
Well, yeah, and it's free.
You have different colors.
You have different colors. I mean, every once in a while, we always are fooling around looking for the best thing. All right. So okay, so I got this over a little far, but that's what we did. Okay, so that being said, I've traced it on. Okay, so there it is. Can you see it? So great.
It's great. Could we have a follow-up question from Spar XX2438? If you varnish in gloss and decide you don't like it, can you revarnish it in matte and vice versa?
If you varnish in gloss, you can go back over it with matte and kind of tone it down. If you varnish it in matte, the gloss won't bring the shine out. The matte is a sealer coat. You've got to understand what the varnish, and this isn't just any varnish. This is Liquitex matte, medium, and varnish, which actually molecularly binds with your paint and becomes another coat like this. It's not coming off ever, okay? And so when the matte goes on, it dulled all those colors. It will not bring, the gloss won't bring the shine back because that matte is a barrier between the color now and the gloss. Try it. I mean, just try it and see. A lot of times if you got both, tell you what though, I've had a jar of matte for years and I still have it, and I go through gloss varnish all the time. That's how often I use matte. But matte can be very helpful. For instance, it can be helpful too. So it just depends on when you want it. All right, so we've put some colors out. We've got titanium white, yellow oxide, and cad yellow medium, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, which I don't see any sitting around here. Where's that go? Phthalo blue. I thought I had some. And you're going, wow, really? And I'm going, yeah.
You guys didn't have it this afternoon?
Well, no, sooner than that. I thought I saw a bottle of this. Oh, here it is. I knew I found some, right? I knew I saw a big tube of this just a second ago. See? So there we go, a little bit of phthalo blue. I'm going to play with this a little bit. Can we do that? I mean, I know it's a little, sacrosanct to fool around with something by Vincent Van Gogh, but anybody can make this. I'm gonna fool around with this. I may. We don't know. But all right, here's our picture. All right. So this is what we're painting, and it's important to understand paint order and what you're doing with stuff. Okay. So we're gonna take a ruby satin silver brush like this, a little angle brush, and the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take some cad red medium, and some cad yellow medium, and we're gonna make an orange color. And then we're going to add a tiny bit of purple to that and dull it down. Okay? Now, why would purple dull down orange? Think about it for a minute, and everybody just don't jump up and speak at once, because I have a color wheel here. Why do I say these things? We start...
I last saw it to the right, to your right.
To my right, to my other right, to my right, to my right, to my left, to my right. I give up. All right. On the color wheel, didn't I have a color wheel? Well, David was here.
Well, you guys had it earlier. I know you were playing with it.
Well, I don't remember it. I have no memory of a color wheel. Creative genius is going on. Oh, thank you.
I mean right.
Okay, yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. All right, so here's yellow, and it's opposite purple on the color wheel, and that will tone down yellow, and yellow tones down purple. Since yellow and red is orange, if you put a little purple and orange, you can almost make a burnt sienna color. So here we go, right over here. We're going to just say, here's this bottle like this, and we're going to go ahead and paint this one in, just like that. We're going to paint this in our bottle in this orange color. All right, so let's just do that. That's easy, and we're not spending. Did you guys watch David paint? I'm really grateful he came on the show, but I was just going nuts. You know what I mean? I really thought I'd take a break and watch some grass grow, and then come back and watch him paint. I don't know, right? We've had a lot of rain here recently. I think the grass would have grown faster than some of the brushstrokes he was making, and
now you know why I don't paint yet.
He's doing this.
I'm a nervous wreck.
He's doing this, I'm painting like I'm being chased by the police. You know what I mean? just I'm painting really fast, but that's okay. All right, so let's make some more of that color. Did you know that when you make colors like this and you thin them real out like this, that this will dry really fast because it's so thin? If you wanted to save it, you'd have to mound that back up. So we're going to come up here using this angle brush. See, we're using just the corner of it. We're going to, here's the shoulders right here. Now I'm going to take a little dazzling purple and just go right back under here, the shadow where the handle is, okay? And add a little bit of this, like a little bit of burnt umber right here. There's a little shadow down here on the vase next to here. See, I'm putting that one there, okay? And then pinching the brush and adding a bit more yellow and cad red medium, make it a little bit brighter. We'll come across here like this, and this is our handle. And we haven't done any highlights on this vase yet. We're just, look at, all we're doing is kind of drawing it in and just doing a few, drawing it in. Now, right here we've got some nifty greens. So we're going to take some yellow oxide and a little bit of ultramarine blue, and we're going to make this green color. Now, chances are Van Gogh used black when he painted, so chances are he probably used black and yellow, and I'll have to add a little bit of maybe some yellow in there, just cad yellow medium, but burnt umber to darken that up. So here's our, this little bit right here is yellow, and it's around this vase. Now remember, the reason this little jug, and the reason he did that is because he understood that wherever there's a dark, there's a light. And so I'm going to just say, here's this little half wall here of kind of green color. So it's kind of pretty, right? There you go. We'll put that there, okay? And then that's all that was there, okay? And then down here, if I'm looking at down here, I'm going to take some more cad red medium and burnt umber, cad red medium, and burnt umber. I want to come down under here, and that's almost a burnt sienna color. Do you see that? And I want to come under here like this and just cover the bottom of this, okay? Got to put something somewhere. So this is our first coat of color. And what was neat about this, if you can see this from the table, is the table came kind of off at an angle like this. So it's coming around this shoe like this. And this is right over the dark color. And this is our first layer of paint. Now we'll put other colors on top, but this is, well, counting the underpaintings, our first layer of paint. All right, so there's that color. Okay, and then we got a little shadow there. And then I'm going to come a little bit of burnt umber and a little ultramarine blue, and then make this a little darker right behind the bottle here, like that. That's our second coat there. All right, so far so good. Now,
what was your base coat?
Just burnt umber and ultramarine blue.
Okay.
So now I'm going to come around here like this. This is our little pot here. And add a little bit more yellow. It's just the same light colors, almost the same color as that. Just come around here like that, and then here, this is coming like this, like that, and then bringing it around. You know, these are fun to do because they're very easy. This is an extremely easy thing to paint. And look, where else could I put that? Around the toe of the shoe, over here and over here on this kind of toe of the shoe, like that. I'll put some of this color, like that.
Kathy E. would like to know why you don't do the whole background first before you drew it on. You know, all your different colors you're putting in now.
Well, I did just the underpainting.
Green and the red at the bottom.
Oh no, just easier, just to do it like this. For me, it's easier. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to work on this. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to take a little of this red color, right, like this, around my jug. Now this is why I don't do the background first. Now I've had all these colors on the brush, these different colors, right? Now none of that's particularly in the background, is it? But now if I take a little purple now and go over that, dazzling purple, now look what happens to this background. And I can blend as I go and still add a little bit of color to this, like that, a little bit of purple. Come right up here like this, because I want one color against another. Now, as I go, that's a little bit ultramarine blue, here's a little purple, here's a little bit of cad red medium, and I'm going to add some color to this background. It's dark, and then here comes back the purple right on top of it, like this, down and across, and I'm kind of weaving in this color back like this. Nothing is ever just one color. You know, this isn't like coloring books, so that more you can do it as you're going, kind of see how it's going to be. Here's a little red in here, cad red medium, here's a little purple. There we go. So sort of we're jazzing this up a bit, coming around like this. Okay, so that's there. Oh, perfect. All right, now what do we know? We've got in here, we've got something kind of dark in here, but then we have some yellow oxide that's coming under here. Let's see, that's not yellow oxide. Let's take a little bit of yellow oxide and a little bit of cad red medium with it and say under here. All right, now here's the trick. When you're painting, and I don't know if John needs to zoom in on this stuff or not so you can see it, 'cause this is pretty small. When you're painting something, get in the habit of cleaning your brush on a rag like this rather than dipping it in water, okay? So here's a little darker brown color, and you see I can leave, do you see this little dark color right here? I can leave a little tiny dark line right there, and I can leave it because I didn't didn't paint over it. Right there, that little tiny dark line. And then we're going to come under here like this and come under the pot like this. The same thing here with a little dark line. It's a ruby satin silver brush. Coming this way, and then maybe a little yellow. Now I put some paint on, and then I'm moving it around. A lot of people spend a lot of time mixing the paint on the canvas. And you can do that, but I mean on the palette, and I'd rather mix it on the canvas for the most part as I go. Okay, and then I can see where else I'd want to put it. Okay, so there's this little pot. Here's our little handle. I think I'm going to add a little titanium white to that, lighten up this handle a little bit. I'm going to go over that with yellow. And I think that I can see the handwriting on the wall is that this will not be light enough. So I'm going to take some white and go over this first with a little bit of white. When that dries, I can go back over it with the orange color, and this will be brighter. All right. You could spend, gobs and gobs of paint trying to brighten it up over a dark area, but if you remember that you can add white, let it dry, and then put a bright color, you're in good shape. So I'm going to want it a little bit lighter right here, and then we'll come back over that with a lighter color. Okay, and let's just bring that over here like this. Little yellow oxide, a little bit of white. There we go. Here's our shoe that's coming back this way, like that. So I'm just putting in these colors as I go. It's kind of like, I guess I would tell you it's a little bit like doing a puzzle. Where else can I put the color? Now as I'm getting into these colors, these lighter colors, let's just take a yellow and make an orange. Oh, like this, nice little orange color, tap some off, and let's come back over here, give another bright orange to this bottle. Do you see what happens? We used to have a set, when I was a kid, I was saying earlier that my adopted parents, the judge was a judge on the Nuremberg trials in Europe. They came back with a lot of antiques. And we had, I remember stone bottles like this in our house as decor. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of orange down in here now. Everything gets layered. Okay. Now this is a white jug, and that's going to make, what's going to happen there is this white jug is going to make these two things pop out. So let's take some white and just mix it into maybe some this color and some yellow oxide and more white. Just, I guess you can back out so people can see me mix the colors. I think that comes up. Now I've got this yellow, and I want a little bit greener. It's a little ultramarine blue, so I'm going to turn this a little bit green, tiny bit of ultramarine blue here. Now I've got this sort of off-white color, and here we go. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so we're going to say there's our jug, right like that. That's the first layer. You'd think it was white, but it isn't white. It's sort of an off-white, and it has almost a green feel to it. And now we're going to come around here like this. And I'll do as much as I can with this brush, and then I'll switch to a smaller brush. But I get a lot of done here. And the reason I'm showing you is the paint order, okay? Absolutely showing you paint order of how you might go about painting this, which is good. There, all right, so we've got, I want to make sure I'm touching that bottle like this. There we go, like that. There's right down here, there's a little tiny bit, little funky handle, and here's our vase. Now we don't have much on the vase. This is just roughed in. I got to tell you, we're roughing everything in, and where most people think is that maybe it's there's some sort of magic to this, that you can just finish it very quickly. John said, in fact, he asked me, he said, do you think you can finish this in an hour or so? And I think I can. I mean, I feel like I can. I went through a lot of his pictures tonight at dinner. You're going, you decided this at dinner? Pretty much, yeah. So I'm going to...
Basically driving back, yeah.
Yeah, we were looking through them saying, what could I show you that might be interesting? I thought this was interesting, but I thought, you know what? I mean, if you do it exactly like he did, you can be very successful in that. A lot of people just like neutral stuff, and if and you may be one of them, but it's hard to go wrong when you stay in neutrals. If you're just trying to sell some paintings and kind of cover a few bills, that kind of thing. If you stay neutral, if you start doing some fancy colors, and which is nothing wrong with that, by the way, me and colors, right? But if you start doing some fancy colors, what happens is that you limit the number of people that you can sell to. So Cinnamon and I were at Art Expo one year. Art Expo is the biggest art show in the country, and I've been several times, and I always took Cinnamon with me. And one of the things, we could get someone to watch our booth then the two of us, it really had a blast running around seeing the other art. I mean, who doesn't want to see the other art that's there, you know? Don't you check out the other YouTube channels, see what people are doing? I mean, we all do it. We want to see what everybody's doing. And, you know, it's nothing but, you know, really it's so expensive to go that my publisher would take me, okay? The first time I footed the bill, and then I thought, never again, because it was about $10,000-$12,000 to go. This is not cheap to go to exhibit there. And, you know, you've got to figure you're going to sell enough to make at least break even, but you'll sell during the year. So anyway, it was a big show, huge. Just imagine a giant home show with nothing but artists at the Javits Center in New York City. So anyway, Cinnamon and I went, and we got to wander around a little bit, and we ran across this one, and then at the very far back in the boonies, and I'm not saying that because I'm snotty, because I mean, I'm not trying to be snotty, because I would have been grateful at one point to be anywhere, at boonies or otherwise, okay? So, but anyway, in the back of the boonies, like that, there was this, where they were letting people go. I think their booths were around, I think it was like $5,000, and that's not inexpensive, right? There you saw a lot of just artists that were trying to have someone, you know, notice their work, you know, or find something. Because who comes to these? You don't really go to Art Expo to sell your artwork as much as you go to find a publisher, to find a gallery that's going to carry you, to sponsor you, that kind of thing. All right, that's why you go to Art Expo. So anyway, Cinnamon and I were wandering, and the actual artist was not there, but there was a woman. There was all these red paintings, okay? And she says, you know, these are, our artist uses blood to paint these. And they were abstracts. And of course, my ears perked up. I said, say what? He does what? Oh yeah, he uses blood to paint these. I'm thinking, does he kill people in an alley, murder small cats and dogs? I mean, whose blood is this? Is he just buying it from the blood bank? Because there are a lot of paintings here. You know, I mean, what kind of mass? And we talked about the Valentine's Day massacre here, and I'm sorry. I was just having problems with this, and so I just wanted to run away. I just didn't want to talk about it anymore. I wanted to run away. But Cinnamon, I love her. She's just, you know, she has a mind like a steel trap, and she just looked at this woman and smiled and said, oh, that's so interesting. She said, you know, there was a German artist, and man, this girl knows her history of art. And she says, there was this German artist, and she rattled off his name, who painted in his own blood, and he eventually died from, you know, doing that. You know, so, because she wanted to know where the guy was getting the blood, right? I did too, you know, I mean, where are you buying this blood that you're painting with? But anyway, so, rather than that be a selling feature, you know, have you ever heard of somebody say, you've heard this, right? Someone will say, well, that's a feature. This is not a feature. If you're going to sell your art, you got to know where you are. Now, this artist would have done fantastic at an Anne Rice convention, don't you think so? Where people were buying books like The Vampire Lestat, that kind of thing. He probably couldn't have kept the paintings in. You got to know your clientele. And that to me is a classic example of not understanding who your clientele is. I'm going to lighten up the shadow right here from the little bit of purple and maybe a little bit of cad red, yellow oxide maybe. Purple and yellow oxide, that's a good color. Let's put a little tiny bit of red with it. Brighten that up. Ooh, too much. All right, there we go. Some sort of little reddish brown color here like this. Here's our shadow next to this bottle. I'm telling you this as I'm painting, okay? And I'm kind of creating this little shadow for this little bottle right here. So anyway, I thought that was so interesting because, you know, she was talking to that guy, to the lady for a while. She was hoping to meet the artist, but I would have said that they weren't doing well, and it didn't surprise me because that wouldn't be a good sales spiel. Then we were wandering around, and it's always funny to see how people sell their art, okay? And so again, we had another, if you're going to an art, the thing is when you go to a big art show like that, if you ever do that, you can't man the booth by yourself. You got to have someone along, and you better hope that you know what they're going to say when you're not around, because people say some really dumb stuff, okay? And then that's your deal, okay? So the next thing we ran into was a very nice a woman, very pretty, and when you're trying to sell art or cars, I guess, hiring someone that's pretty nice looking doesn't hurt. Maybe she was the guy's girlfriend. I don't know. I'm going to put a little tiny bit of orange around here like this on our bottle up here like that. Here's this. Then I'll make it a little bit smaller. Here's some, let's just brighten this up here like this. You see I'm just brightening this up as we're talking. You and I are talking and telling it. So anyway, he had, I can't remember what the paintings were, but let me just tell you, they were very well done. Whatever they were, you couldn't fault them. Beautiful paintings. And she's sitting there, and there's nothing wrong, and she didn't need to do anything except say the guy was from Russia, and he was a good artist. And he was. I mean, certainly couldn't fault that. He was I thought he was a marvelous artist, okay? But then she went on to say, and he was like in his 30s. She had a picture of him. He painted for the Tsar of Russia. He used to paint for the Tsar of Russia. And I said, for who? Who did you say he painted for? Because now I'm wondering if he's even from Russia and what their deal is. Because, the Tsar of Russia died in the early 1900s. Remember, that was the Russian Revolution. And, Stalin took over. Those people, right? This guy wasn't born yet. Okay, so it's very unlikely he painted for the Tsar of Russia. And I'm sorry, you know me. I kind of called her out on it. And then she got all frustrated because she obviously wasn't old enough to remember history. Maybe she never covered that in her class. Now look what happens when I put the orange over the light color. Do you see what's happening now? See?
Can we ask a quick question while you're in that spot there?
Yeah.
I think Zoe asked is, how you left the black or the dark background between those two?
Yeah.
Is there a big difference if you went back and put a line, you lined it back later with a liner brush?
No. It's just easier.
It's just a different result.
It's just
it's
just easier.
Result.
It's the same result. It's just that sounds like a lot more trouble, doesn't it? Maybe not to you. It does to me. It sounds like a lot more trouble. But no, you could come back with a liner brush, put it in. Absolutely. I'm just I was looking for the easy things to do. Okay, for sure. Let's see. I want a little shadow right here on this side. This is just a little burnt umber kind of going over this a little bit, right like this, but it's still wet. A little bit of shadow right there. All right, so we're getting that in there. And so anyway, that was sort of funny. And then she's just backpedaling all the way. And I said, now, if you told me she'd painted for Khrushchev or something, I don't think he could have even, quite frankly, painted for Khrushchev. But for sure, he wasn't painting for the czars. That I can tell you. I'm pretty sure he wasn't painting for the czars, unless she's talking about some sort of reincarnation thing, and we hadn't got into that. You don't think that she meant that, right? So in any event, that was sort of fun. I mean, I just thought that was funny, just personally. That this has got to touch this bottle here, like that. All right, so you see how we're coming along painting this? And that's nice. And as long as we're doing that, you come down here and say, well, we know that the bottom of this shoe is this color, right, like this. And then it comes around like this. And then we're going to come over the top like that. And then I think a color that we're going to use is that, now look, here's some. You can make a burnt sienna with a little bit of yellow and cad red medium and a little tiny bit of purple. You can get a pretty good, that's burnt umber, a little bit of purple, a little bit more dazzling purple like that. You can make a pretty nice burnt sienna. If you didn't have burnt sienna, that's what you could use, right, like that. Now we're coming over the top of the shoe like this, okay? And then down here on the bottom of it, like that, this little toe thing. These really look like they were sold out of, made out of fabric. This is coming this way. And then what happened to the toe here? I'm just looking here. This is some sort of lighter brown color. Maybe it's the same color with a little yellow oxide in it. See?
Here's a comment from Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
How can Ginger just throw color around like that and talk? If someone interrupts me during painting, I lose it.
I'll tell you what, it depends. I think it depends on your level of focus. If I'm driving, say, downtown Houston, which I don't go to very much, because we really are out in the country here, and I don't know where I'm going. I could be any city. I don't know where I'm going. I can't have the radio in. Nobody can talk to me. If I'm trying to do directions, everybody better shut up, get the radio off. I'm listening. I'm focusing on the directions. I can't hear anything but the directions, okay? But this stuff is easy for me, right?
Now you know why I drive.
Well, that's one of the reasons you drive, John. There's a multitude of reasons
There
why
are.
John.
There really
but
are.
You know, I mean, let's count the ways, right?
Yeah.
Let me count the ways. But John drives. But I'm just saying that for me personally, I have to have the focus on that. I used to. Did you guys ever play this game? This is so fun. You ever play this game where you take a deck of cards and you put them all face down? Okay.
We have to think.
All right. Think about that. Face down, and then you pick up 2, and if they don't match, you put them back down. And then someone else picks up 2, and then and you match them, okay?
Called concentration.
Yeah, it's called concentration, yeah. I love that game, and I'm good at it, too. We've never played, but I'm really good at that game. And it used to make my best friend, and back when cinema was a baby, my friend Linda Capella used to come over, and we'd watch TV, and she and her husband would come over, and then we'd play concentration, she and I. And I'd have the TV and the radio going, all kinds of stuff going. The kids would be talking, everybody would be talking, and be doing it. She'd want it dead quiet.
She needed full concentration.
But I could have all this background noise going on, okay? And I don't know why. I just could, right? But I know an awful lot of people are more like Andrew, who just need it quiet to focus. And that's fine. That's just...
Now, we have to admit, when Ginger is designing a painting, and it's not going real smooth, Sammy and I, we keep our distance.
That's right.
We can smell the wood burning in that room as the brain's cooking.
That's right. That's right. That's absolutely
And I'm
right.
the same way. When I'm in programming mode, she knows don't come near me, because you really got to pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah, and that's true. And John's doing that. John's programming. Now look here. I know it's going to be lighter here on the shoe, so I'm going to pinch the paint off the brush. Now look what's here. I'm just going to go up here like this. Kind of dry brush this in. See how I'm just sort of coming up on the side of the shoe like this? Like that, see? So that's a little bit lighter here, like that. And then I'll just come back here with a little bit of yellow, a little bit of orange, and come back here. And let's see, this has to be straight up and down. Now you have to kind of think about that. So angle brush is good for that, right?
So now basically you're done blocking, and now you're putting it together.
Now I'm starting to put in some color here, see? So now I'm using the angle brush like that, and then I'll come back over here, and because again, yellow is one of those colors that is happiest painted over white. All right, so that's the front of this shoe, and there's a little bit of light. So now we're just playing around talking, but I want you to see the paint order of kind of how I'm doing this, coming back and painting it in here. And I think this was brighter yellow, kind of a bright yellow orange color right here.
Back out for a second and see the original.
Yeah, back up. See, here's our original. Now, I just want you to see how much we've gotten painted in this little short period of time. Not too shabby, right?
And it looks like you gingerized it a little bit, too.
Well, I haven't finished gingerizing, but it's
No.
going to be gingerized because I just, me, I want more color than this. But we'll do it their way first, right? Well, I said, we'll do it this way first, but I'm going to come back and say lighten that up like this. Bring the brush toward me, so you kind of lighten it up on the side here, okay? And then there's a little bit of kind of some dark, there's a dark color right here, the shadow color, back in here like this, and down here, okay, and all right, let's bring up some, brown here. Let's just come a little bit closer here like that. I'm going to start lightening up the table like this, and this is our second coat of paint. Do you see that? I'm using just the flat of the brush. And probably because this is such a nice chiseled edge and I don't want to wear this brush out, I might take an older brush. And this is where an older brush can be, one that you've kind of worn out a little bit, so you don't mind scrubbing with it too much. What could I do? See, I got any of those? Probably have some of those. Yeah, see one like this, it's all frayed like that. So if I come in here like this, no paint on it, no water on it, come in here like that. Now, look, I'm just going to sort of scrub this on, add a little bit more yellow to this. See, barely touch it. Let's see, a little more yellow like this. I'm going to come along like this, just over that other color. See, just sort of dry brush this over that other color. This is layering it on like that, okay? See, this is kind of cool. When you think about it, that other stuff is dried enough, and there's no water on this brush, and I'm just sort of scrubbing this on, adding maybe a little yellow oxide if I want to lighten it up a little bit here, like that. See, just brushing that on here, and the dark areas help me do that. And then it kind of comes around, we kind of come around our bottle like this a little bit with this. There's a little bit around the bottle like that. And then this is a very fine straight line going back this way behind this bottle, like about like that. Maybe it isn't that high, I don't know. Like that. It's back behind here like this. And there's a line. This is light yellow here. There's a light yellow here line like that. See, that's pretty light right there. And then you got to come in here a little bit with some of those lighter colors. And at some point, now if you put water on your brush, this doesn't work, okay? So this is called dry brushing, and it doesn't work. And you think, imagine instead of your painting, you're using something like a chalk, okay? As opposed to this where we went wet on wet. Now we can do something like that here too. I'm going to just play a little bit and take some magenta, okay? Because I'd like something a little bit more going on in this background. So I might take some magenta and some some purple, okay, and magenta, like that, and maybe a tiny bit of cad red medium, okay? And then wipe the brush off, and I might come up here like this and just dry brush this on into the background too, see? Like that, and just grab some of that color, see? But I started off with something pretty dark, and because nothing's ever just one color. I keep saying that, but nothing is ever just one color, okay? All right, so that's, do you see how we sort of warm this background up a little bit? All right, you can kind of see that. And if I took some cad red medium and added some more of that, and let's just say I wanted it more, I could come in here and make some of this section a little bit lighter, right in here, just a couple places. And just brighten this up just a hair. Okay, don't have to do much. And if you thought it was too much, take a little purple and go over it. So if you got carried away, you can push it back a little bit. But that for me is very nice, and I still like that. So I might put some of this color in the floor here. Say same color in the floor, just kind of like that, see? So now I've sort of tied this all together.
I've got a question from Scott.
Yeah.
When scrubbing with a brush, is there a good and bad way to do it, and does it damage your brush?
Oh yeah, it damages your brush, you bet. So that's why we use old brushes. It damages them, sure. Sure, because you're kind of using them like sandpaper, and that's why I'm using the flat of the brush like this and doing that, right? The flat of it like that, okay? And I don't have any water on it, okay? And like for instance, I'm just going to show you what would happen if I wanted to brighten this up even more. Here's some orange.
So you definitely don't grab your brand new ruby satin silver.
No, you don't do that, right? You don't do that. So let's say I wanted to brighten this up right here. Look at this. I can come on top of here like this. And this is another layer like that, brighten this up. See? So you can get a really nice technique going doing this, really pretty. Pretty easy, you know, very nice. And like, for instance, even this up here like that with the yellow, if I took a little bit of yellow oxide on this one and just came up back here over here like this, over that green I just did. See? This makes it look all old-timey. I like that. Do you like that word, old-timey?
Old-timey.
I like that green here, too. That's something on the top of this shoe. Maybe we want a little bit of green. So ultramarine blue.
I think we've
and
gone
yellow
into
oxide.
gingerizing mode.
Old-timey? Yeah, old-timey. I like that, right? It sounds good. Here's a little green on the top of this shoe. And maybe even here, too. Just barely touch it. There's a little bit of almost a green shadow under here that I could suggest. Maybe even under here a bit, like that. I mean, you can add a little bit of color, and then and even here a little bit. I might put some green on this vase, and then come back with some light. What, John?
Okay, Anne Marie's asking, the objects at the end, are they French bread?
Yeah, no, these are actually old-time. These are Crocks shoes. These are like, they're not quite wooden shoes, right? See? They're weird. They're little shoes.
They're pre-Crocs.
They're pre-Crocks. They're not even wooden shoes.
They don't look like they're complete.
But, you know, he was Dutch, so what do you want? You know what I mean? He was Dutch. So he had these, you know, they had this odd footwear. So sorry, people, right? That, you know, it's a long time ago, right? I mean, you're talking from a person here who lives in Crocks. So this is an ode to Crocks, really. I should call it ode to Crocks, right? Because I love Crocs shoes, right?
Crocks rule.
I got John wearing Crocs when he came down here. I said, you want a nice shoe? It's like wearing a bedroom slipper out, and nobody says anything, right? Except the comments like, well, God, I wouldn't be caught dead in those shoes, but glad you like them. Get the comments like that, particularly from cinnamon people like that, right? But in fact, I remember that she's always said that about my shoes. Even as a teenager. Well, they're all right for you, but I wouldn't be caught dead in them, right? Well, I wouldn't want you to be caught dead anywhere. So just, what do you mean caught, right? Just, did your mother, remember that with when you're in an accident, you want to make sure that you have certain areas of your garments that are clean, right?
Clean underwear.
That's what they said, right?
Always make sure you have clean underwear on.
Just
and make sure you have a dime in your pocket for the phone call.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
Oh yeah, you didn't have to carry. Well, no, they had to carry a dime.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And to find a payphone.
No, what a good idea.
Yeah, now kids have a cell phone. They have an $800 cell phone, or we can give them a dime.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with this world?
Yeah. All right. So we're starting to put the shoes in. You can see I'm kind of working on the shoes. You got to hang in there with me, Andrew. I'm working on it, right? So anyway, I mean that was just sort of it's just funny. It's just with her. I wouldn't be but.
But just as a little side note, Andrew is working on the Ode to Coffee.
Oh, are you? I can't wait to see that, Andrew. I'm very excited for you that you're working on Ode to Coffee.
And you want to know what size he's doing?
Yeah, what size?
30 by 40.
Oh, man, that's going to be good. Oh, that's going to be so good. Okay, so I mean, Andrew, we're
cheering
aren't you
you
guys?
on that one, buddy.
We can't wait to see it. That's just great. You see
and
how
he's
I'm
watching
just...
us on a 61-inch TV or 65-inch.
Oh wow. See. Living large, Andrew. Living large, and Andrew lives on a beautiful, little island. Has a little island house there in the Caribbean. Kind of cool.
Swing by and say hey to him.
We're going to come by and say hey. All right. So now kind of the big brush is gone, but now look how much prettier the background is. I mean, isn't it? A little bit better. A little nicer. This is where it doesn't hurt to add a few colors. Okay, so that being said, here's a little. This is a Ruby Satin Silver Bright brush. It's a number 10. You do have glasses. I have glasses. Oh, I have glasses. Look at that, number 10. Yes, and my vision. Thank you very much. Is better. All right, so I have. All right, so we're seeing where our jug is, right? Now we just kind of laid stuff in. Let's get this jug in. So we're going to take some. Magenta and phthalo blue, ultramarine blue rather, and magenta and purple. And he probably used black, but we're not using black, so we're going to have to just ad-lib this, right? We're not using black. Let's put a little more purple and magenta, like that. Now remember, we kind of lost the bottle a little bit as we did this in here, but we know how to put it back. We just kind of put the bottle in here like this, so you'd have it. Now I'm going to come down straight like this and just paint this in, right? Just get our bottle in. It looks blue, but we'll fix it. And this should be straight up and down like this, and then curved at the bottom. Now let's take some purple and cad red medium, okay? And let's come over here like this and add some extra color to this. Now at this point I got a little bit wide on the bottle, on the top of this bottle than his, but that's okay. I'm not worried about it yet. The larger this is, I have to promise you, the larger this is, the easier it would have been to paint in. Did you know that?
And what size cameras? We're 8 by 10.
We're just on an 8 by 10, so it's a little more challenging to do something small than it would be to do something large, believe it or not. Okay? But I think we're coming out here like this. Let's just come out. These sides have to be straight up and down. And the shoulders are rounded. And then it's the same on both sides. So let me just, whatever I said happened here has to happen on this side. Okay? So bring that around on that side like that.
Let's back out again and check the original.
Okay, so, all right, so you're seeing the bottle, okay? And I'm going to take some cad red medium and just add some color to this bottle right like this, right down here at the bottom, like this, and just while it's still wet, blend some color in, like that. And at some point, I would have to dry this, but now we've got a brown shadow that's coming under our shoe, and back over in here, kind of under our bottle, and then this way. So there's kind of this line, and then I guess this comes down like this, about like this. All right, so then you've got this shadow on this bottle coming this way. Here's the top of it. All right, so there's, you see how we're sort of pulling that everything's sort of pulling together, all right? So then we want something sort of brown in here, brown there. There's definitely, this has got to be straight up and down right there with this line, and curved like this. So there's a little shadow on this part of the shoe. It's really a little bit like doing a puzzle. And I'm not saying that everybody, you know, this would be everybody's cup of tea painting this, but it doesn't really matter what we're painting, in the sense that the techniques that apply here apply everywhere, okay? So this is coming down to the top of the toe here on this funky little shoe. That you certainly could put if you weren't into shoes, why not put a loaf of French bread? I think Andrew's right. I think French bread, you know, when you start at 6 o'clock at night, you know, planning these things, you don't have a lot of time for French bread. But I think Andrew's absolutely, totally correct.
I don't think that was Andrew that asked that question.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, I don't remember now.
Well, it was still right.
Hey, I have another question, though. Linda would like to know, when selling paintings, is there a size that is more popular than other sizes?
Yes, absolutely. That's a wonderful question.
And do you know what size that is?
Yeah, I do. And I think Linda wins the question of the night.
Whoa! Ding, 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 ding,
Ding, ding, ding, ding, ding, ding. Where's our dingers? I'm telling you what.
Over an A. We need to bring it over to B.
We need to bring the dingers over to B. So Linda won the question of the night. The question is, when you're selling paintings, is there a size that's better than others? And you betcha. That's all I can tell you. You betcha. And let me tell you what it is, because you're absolutely...
Stay tuned next week to find the answer.
No, she's right. And this is really important, you guys, because let me tell you the size it's not, 16 by 20. That's just 16 by 20 says amateur, amateur, amateur.
Because that's what all the painting parties are.
Yeah, and even before that, even before painting parties, it was still considered amateur.
That's
okay?
Interesting.
So, and then let's talk about what people, you know, what people buy for their house, right? So if your people are buying paintings for their house, here's what they buy, okay? The first place they're going to buy a painting for, I'm going to get into a little brown here, not quite as dark, get a little bit lighter here on the toe, okay? First place they buy a painting for is their living room. Yay, yay, you know what I mean? Like 30 by 40. They're over the sofa. Either two smaller ones, like 24 by 36, you know, two pairs of something, or 30 by 40, 36 by 48, 48/60. Big paintings, okay? That's what people want to buy. And it better match the furniture. Guess what? Sad as that may seem. So if you're really big into painting spark plugs, chances are you're going to be sitting with that for a while. Now remember I told you that people, if you keep it in the neutrals, all right, and that's the trick. If you can keep it in the neutrals, you have a very good chance of selling it, because that pretty much goes into any decor. And then the other thing is that husbands and wives generally pick out artwork. If you're buying original artwork, it's a husband and wife proposition. Anything over $1,000 probably is going to be, you're going to need a second opinion on. And men generally respond to paintings that have a little red in them. And then the last thing, you know, and then the other thing is that, you know why men, that sounds like I'm dissing them, but I'm not. Do you know why men like to do business on the golf course?
Because it's green.
No.
There's no women around.
There's no women around. God, did you hear that? There's no women around? Well, that could be.
Hey,
no.
You started it with the male-female battle tonight.
There's no battle here. Who's battling? I'm just saying. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, right? The reason they do is that they found that men tend to be a little softer, less intense, maybe because they're playing a game, so that they're a little more pliable. That's the word I want, pliable, to do business with on a golf course, you know, than say in their office. Well, I'm in the office, yeah? What do you want? Speak, you know, that kind of thing, right? So the thing of it is that, so where you want your art gallery, and the other place is when they're on vacation with their wives somewhere on vacation, or significant other, doesn't matter. So the ideal art gallery is in a tourist area. And the ideal painting is something that's going to go over the sofa. Okay? And then
30 by 40.
At least 30 by 40. And then the next place people are willing to spend some money on is perhaps the entryway or the dining room. They might pony up to the bar, and shell out some coins for money for the dining room. Again, you're talking about 30 by 40, something nice, thinking about formal dining room, okay? Maybe a pretty good vertical piece for the entryway, but mostly horizontals, but maybe a vertical piece for the entry. And if they've got some big bucks, possibly the master bedroom, something behind the bed, or in the master bedroom.
But,
but these are all the kitchen, prints. Dinette, prints. Guest bedrooms, yes, prints, right? So there you go.
Get the original.
So this is what you're painting for, okay? And so it's important to understand that. So once you know that that's what the deal is, okay? Which is just know that what the deal is, so that when you go to now I'm sort of focusing in here like this, but I still can talk. When you go to buy the painting, when you go to sell your painting, it's think about who you're painting for and why you're painting it, and why you're doing something a particular size. All right, so I mean that's key. Okay, so we're trying to make sort of an off-white here. And then I need the sides of this to be, it's got to curve in like this and then go straight down on both sides like that. Then curve around, then I'll turn it over this way. And it's got to do the same thing on this side, then curve around like that.
Becky would like to know, how many paintings does Ginger have hanging in her house?
Quite a few. I have artwork all over the house, don't I, John?
Yeah.
Artwork all over the house.
A couple hundred.
Well, considering that we haven't sold any of the lesson paintings yet, but I've got some nice big ones too.
Yeah.
I have, occasionally I sell, I'll sell something that I'm, let's see, what do I want to do here? Yeah, this is coming around to the, I got to bring this around like this. So yeah, so I have paintings in the house that I'm selling here. We're selling some artwork that we're selling some stuff. We're going to start our sale soon,
Well, is there a market, Kathy would like to know, is there a market for 8x10s and 9x12s?
No. I hate to tell you. You're learning, this is, not really. Not to get, not so much, you know what I mean? And not so much because people don't want to give you any money for them. And they don't care that you can have as much time in a little painting as in a big one, all right? And on some cases for detail. And there really isn't, there isn't a big market for it. In tourist areas, yes, because people will want something they can put in their suitcase. So if your art gallery is in a tourist town, yes, then possibly that would be true. You could then paint, for your, I'll just kind of get my bottle here, round it again here like this, and put my throat of the bottle back. There we go.
What about the ones we're doing now? Are they good for like a dining room on a budget?
Well, you still would be better off to do them bigger. You're learning, and we're doing them small now so that you can learn to paint it, so you don't waste tons of money. You do them small and paint while you're figuring it out, because trust me, you may want to do it a couple times before you do it. Now, these make nice gifts, and your family members would appreciate it. And some people, I've hung small, some people might hang a small picture in a guest bathroom if it's not too expensive, and they might be willing, might do that. So I'm not saying it's unheard of. I'm just saying if you want, if you're talking about commercial success here, right? Now the problem is if you're talking about, say, Etsy or eBay or something, right? Now you've got to think about shipping. Now, if you're shipping it yourself and it's not a gallery, okay? Now there's a difference between selling in a gallery and you're selling yourself. You got to ship it, and the best way is like FedEx Ground or something, And 30 by 40 is probably that's still pretty cheap. You got to check your shipping rates, because otherwise you're talking about taking it off the stretcher bar and having them take it to somewhere and having them restretch it. Already you're shuddering and running away, screaming, going, no, I don't want to do that, right? So again...
Is that a common practice to do?
Yeah. So when you're talking about these things, all right, now, so seriously, when you're talking about being able to do that stuff, that kind of stuff, you want to think about, I'm going to sell a painting. Now, it's different if I'm selling it in Houston, if I'm shipping it to California, okay? So, and again, I mean, when I was at Art Expo, I sold some really big paintings, beautiful stuff, to some people for their dining room. You know what I mean? They were in New York and they had a lot of money and they were perfectly willing to buy it. But we're talking about the average person. And also when you're talking about going into a gallery to sell something, if the gallery, find out what the top painting is, how much the top painting is that they're selling. Because if they're only selling things for a couple $100 and you think that to make your life totally, thoroughly satisfied and fulfilled, you need more money than that for your painting, chances are their buyers are not going to be $2,000 buyers. Okay? Either. So, I mean, while the gallery owner is interviewing you, you're interviewing them too. Because then who's selling the artwork? Do they just, because artwork needs to be sold, just like anything else. And particularly when you're talking about some money, it needs to be sold, and there has to be a reason why somebody would want to buy it, okay? And it's up to that's what the gallery does. The reason that galleries get like 50 to 75% commission, and I have people say, well, I just never give them that. That's just too wrong. It isn't. They might sit on your sad little painting for for months, taking up floor space or taking up space that somebody else's art might have sold quicker, right? So, and they have to pay hired help insurance. They have to pay insurance in case somebody breaks in and steals your painting. Your Picasso. Okay. Your Picasso. Somebody steals it. They've got to insure it. They've got to insure against customers tripping and falling in their gallery and breaking their legs and wanting to own the place. Again, like I say, insurance. Okay. See what we're doing now? We're taking a little brush now. We've done all the big stuff. Now we're coming back with a little brush and sort of fixing stuff up a little bit, right? Oh, I had some white on here on my finger. That always happens. I get paint on my finger. So, I mean, you're talking about how to sell in an art gallery. Those are good questions to ask, and can the gallery, and then I can't tell you how many galleries have walked off with my artwork and gone out of business and just disappeared overnight, and they're just gone.
And your artwork gone with it?
It's gone. Yeah, and all the contracts in the world will say that, okay? It's all very well to have all these little happy contracts signed, and then they're gone.
When they're gone, they're gone.
And they're gone. And we're going into some greens now.
Yeah, we would like to thank everybody that helped us reach our 28,000 subscriber mark. And if you have not subscribed, be a part of the family for the 29,000 club.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much for helping us reach those goals. All right, thank you so much. I'm going to take a little phthalo blue and warm this blue up now. And a little bit of white. Okay, so I'm going to start adding some color to this. All right, you guys ready for this? This is just too plain for me.
Now we're going to fully gingerize it.
We're going to totally gingerize it. I need a little color on this vase back here. All right. I just need a little bit of color back here. Just do. Okay, let's just come out like this, and let's just fix this little vase. Let's just bring this around. Okay, better. I got to put my glasses on. It's hard to see. So those are some things you want to keep in mind when you're selling. But like if you're selling on eBay or Amazon, you got to ship it. So then there may be a market for these smaller paintings on something, say like a Pinterest or an Amazon, where you've got to figure out how much it's going to cost to ship it to these people, and then you probably have to figure out, you've got to pay. Are you taking credit cards? Who? I mean. there's a lot. Art is a business. It doesn't have to be. When you're starting about selling your artwork and you're talking about the business of it, now that's a whole different deal, you guys. Whole different deal. See how we're lightening it up there? Everything is getting lightened up here like this. We're lightening these, starting to put some highlights on here. I'm just putting a few little, I put a little bit of turquoise blue instead of that dark green in that pot because I think it's a little prettier. And I think that they had it kind of coming out like this. All right, so we're kind of lightening up this picture. And so those are some things to think about too. And then if you're talking about what are you painting subject-wise, what is, what sells? Go down into, go to your local furniture store and look at the art that they're selling this week. Because what they may be selling this year, they couldn't, is different than what they sold last year. And that'll make a difference. What are people selling?
Hey, we have a question from Lynn. Does bathroom humidity damage our paintings?
Does what?
Bathroom humidity. If we're creating art for the bathroom.
No.
I mean, you're going to still varnish it and seal it and protect it.
No, you're varnishing it. Doesn't hurt it at all. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, does not. Does not. Bathroom humidity doesn't hurt it. You can't hang it outside on a fence, right? You're not going to do that, okay? You're not hanging it outside. I just need to curve this round a little bit here like that. Just have this, not as opposed to a straight line, just have that curve out a little bit. Yeah, you don't want to do that, okay? So you don't want to hang it down on a fence or something like that. But for sure, yeah, you can hang it in the bathroom. That might be nice. Like in a guest bathroom too, probably nobody's showering in there, but I'm just saying, even if somebody did. I've got some watercolors, framed that are in my bathroom, and from somebody that I bought. They're nice. And and acrylics can be hung in direct sunlight too, where a lot of art cannot be. Watercolors cannot be put in direct sunlight. Clays cannot be put in direct sunlight.
Oh, they'll fade overnight.
Yeah, they'll fade.
Moonlight.
And guess what I discovered, John?
I couldn't possibly guess. What did you discover?
Don't you guys laugh either. Don't you laugh, right?
I won't
But
laugh.
my dryer has a steam function.
A steam?
So a steam function, so
and a dryer.
So I have a dryer, but a lot of them are coming out with the new dryer. What happened to the shirt?
They shrunk?
A lot.
Really?
It shrunk a lot. I mean, it's just.
Was it cotton?
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, look at us. We lost our connection again. I have the lowest possible setting to still get HD quality, and it says they're still not getting it fast enough. Unbelievable. Okay. Hey, I have a question from BKBRP64.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Hey, looking at this canvas that you're working on and looking at the dark bottle, it seems like, is this a repaired canvas? It looks like the dark bottle is raised a little bit.
Right in here? Yeah, it is. I used that today to do as a demonstration for John.
It was a demonstration. It's not a repaired canvas. It just happens to be.
No, there's nothing on the back. I painted over something, right?
She was teaching some.
Teaching David.
Palette knife technique.
Yeah, just something. So I figured it wouldn't really matter since it was just, it wouldn't matter. How's that?
Hey, canvas costs money, people.
Yeah, we're recycling. We're green.
We're green.
We're green. Now, look, I want to put a little shadow here for the bottle here, so that I would have a little shadow.
So I don't know if they heard your steaming issue or not.
Yeah, you interrupt my steam. Yeah, I was just sort of sad about it because I should have guessed that because I'm talking all the time about shrinking cotton. But it went down a size.
Just one size.
That nice gray
shirt. It's not
shirt.
quite down to a Sammy size yet.
No, it's like one size. Either that or that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, right? Whoops, it shrunk. Oh, gracious.
Must be.
Yeah, that's my story. Well, that's my story. But anyway, but that's a good observation, you guys. You're right. It just absolutely, that I'm painted over a canvas like that. And there's a little bumpy stuff right here. And I thought about sanding. I could have sanded it off, but we got a late start, and I wanted just something on there.
barely got here in time.
Okay, I think I want some cad red light now. I'm going to just lighten up the orange here. What is this? Cad red light hue. You ever, guys, you know what a hue is?
What's a hue, Ginger?
A hue is a cad red medium is a, like there's some ingredients in it, cadmium, right? But a hue is an artificially made color with no cadmium. So if you ever thought you were allergic to something, then you would use a hue. And it's generally brighter. Hues are generally brighter, okay? So if I take a little yellow here in this hue and add this orange, this light cad yellow light hue, and put some white on here, look how bright. This just look how bright this is right here. I'm just going to brighten up this bottle a bit here like that, see? So see how I'm starting to add color here? And maybe come around here, the corner like this. And see, because everything's about, about layers, right? It's all about layers. And then there really is a little bit of orange on here, and I want a little bit more orange back here too, on the back of this. This is all very neutral stuff, but it doesn't hurt to add just a little bit of color. And if I just take the flat of my brush like this now, just a little bit of this dry brush, some of this color on, it's just sort of nice. It sort of brightens up the picture. It doesn't have to be so dull. Does that make sense?
Well, it's a paint he had at the time.
It's a painting that he had at the time, and he really struggled with his paints. He couldn't, you may not know this about Vincent, but his brother supported him, and he wrote his brother every day and told him what he was going to paint. His brother was his benefactor, and he couldn't always afford the best materials. In fact, there's a painting in the National Gallery in England, Van Gogh's White Roses, and originally they were red, but he couldn't afford the good red, and the red all just faded out now. It's not there anymore. It's just sort of sad, right? So, okay, so let's just come over here with a little bit of a shadow under these shoes here, right, like that.
Here's a kind of a question off topic from Kurt. What is the rules? It should be. What are the rules for abstract?
Abstracts are when you rule for what? What kind of rules? And you be more specific. The rules support what?
Sorry, that's all I get so far.
Well, we don't know. There's for one thing, if you're talking about art that sells, believe it or not, abstracts sell very well. There was this. I was had a publisher one time who was using the work of another artist that I liked her. I admired her. Okay. Really did. And she did these. Did I admire her really? Well, I admired the fact that she was selling like crazy. I didn't really admire the art. I really just couldn't stand it, quite frankly. Let's be honest here. I couldn't stand it. That wasn't jealousy talking. I really just couldn't stand it. I couldn't bring myself even to paint it. But from an economic standpoint, she just did a lot of black and red abstracts. Couldn't keep them in stock. Couldn't keep them. Because if you think about modern homes, they got a black sofa. Red. Some sort of splash of red. Okay. Now I'm going to just do my tape here on this bottle because I want a nice straight line. Let me just get my glasses so I can see it, right? Like yay.
Just like my daddy used to say.
Yeah, just like yay,
like
right?
Yay.
I want a nice straight line here.
Or just move that over a smidge.
See, look at that.
Well, that's a razor cut edge there.
And I could do the same thing on this side too. Change the tape this direction. I want a nice straight line.
That's a cool little trick. Ginger, have you read Lust for Life about Van Gogh?
I have not. I've not read his story, but I've read a lot of biographies about him, but I have not read that one. Okay, so now I'm going to use a little mixing white, right? And did we tell her what she won? Who asked that question about the Carol that asked the question about?
I don't think it was Carol.
It was not Carol. Whoever you were that asked that question.
Whoever you were that asked that
question. We got so sidetracked with the question, we forgot to
tell you won.
either a free downloadable lesson or a 1 week with gingercooklive.gallery. That's what you've won. Here, let's put a little bit of highlight.
Just contact us at gingercooklive.gallery and let us know that you're the winner of the day of Wednesday night's live lesson.
And actually, there's a little bit of texture on that bottle, which is actually pretty good. Here's a little zinc white here, like this.
Continuing on with the abstract theory question, Wendy asked, what makes an abstract?
Oh gosh, that's abstracts. Generally, there's a lot of different. There's figurative abstracts where there's, like for instance, think of Picasso. He did, somebody with one eye, that kind of thing. That you kind of know they're people, but they're not. It's not like this. They're just a little. Sometimes it's just color, and sometimes there's objects in it. There's male and female abstracts. Did you guys know that? Women have a tendency to paint more organic abstracts, more soft, round shapes, and men have a tendency to like straight lines. Ideally, a balanced abstract would have a little bit of both. Let's just start lightening stuff up here now. See, we're coming around. We're almost finished with this. Don't you think this is kind of cool? I mean, we're almost finished with this. Now we're coming back and we're lightening up the shoe. Let's take a little brown, a little bit of white, a little bit of yellow oxide, lightening up the shoe here. Like
Do you remember the winning question?
Yeah, they wanted to know, what size paintings,
Yes.
sell well.
That's why we got off on it, and that was a dissertation. That was
but that's, it's really important. I mean, that's a really good question, and that's why I said, because it does, you would think these little, I guess, again, for galleries, and you got to imagine where people are going to be selling the picture, all right? That's the key. Where are they going to be selling the picture, and who's going to be selling it? I have a rule of thumb. I don't go into galleries that just opened, and they're looking for artists. I don't think so. And you want them there a little bit. They want to take you, and someday we'll talk more about that. They definitely want to, they want to interview and decide whether you're worthy to get in their gallery, right? But let's just suppose everything else is equal, and they want to have you as a client, and they feel they can sell your artwork, which is important, because if your artwork is too different from what's in there, you can't be. If you go in there and say everybody's painting stuff like Thomas Kinkade, they don't want another Thomas Kinkade artist. Okay. So just because they've got art like that, you don't fit. Okay, you just don't fit. So you got to be enough different where you're going to attract. You're not going to take business away from the other artists, right? They're trying to sell more art, not less. But on the other hand, you can't be so far out, like that lady at that guy that was at Art Expo with the paintings that were abstracts are all out of blood. That probably wouldn't do well in a gallery that sold Thomas Kinkade kind of paintings, right? You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about that, okay? You got to think about that. And then, when they say how much to charge, there's whole things like how much to charge and all that stuff. And people get really crazy. And I have a client who's out of town. I can talk about her, right?
Sure. Why not?
She's gone. She's not in the room. Let's just, have you ever heard that expression? The best way to start a conversation is to leave the room. You ever heard that?
I have heard that.
You had heard that, right? Well,
as I was leaving the room.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So anyway, she was telling me that John helped her with the website, and John's a marvelous website builder, and he built a website for her, and. Let's see, where was I? Oh, yeah, so Andrew's right. I'm sitting here yakking with you, but you're right, Andrew. Look at this angle brush. Look at that thin line I can make. Look at that on that. Isn't that cool? Look at that beautiful thin line. Are you zoomed in?
Well, you're seeing what I'm seeing. You want me to get closer?
Yeah, get closer, because I'm very proud of that line.
Let's get a close-up of that line.
Now look at this is an angle brush. Look at
the size of the angle brush, too.
And I'm just touching it like that and lifting it up, and look at that thin line, okay? That's really cool, isn't it?
That's just amazing, really.
I love these ruby satin silver brushes. Sorry, I was telling you. So she wants to sell her brushes. Not her brushes. She wants to sell her artwork. Well, we're all for that, right? So I'm going to come over here and just pull this down like this now. Okay, so I'm just kind of dry brushing this over that, kind of lightening this up again, a little bit of light here. Let me just turn this upside down too. Sometimes that helps me All right, turn everything upside down.
Do you want me to back out a little bit?
There, like that. See, I've got this bump now. I don't want that bump. So I'm going to fix that bump. So anyway, we got to talking about how much she wanted to charge for the paintings, okay? And then we were talking about, galleries take, anywhere between 50 to 70% commission. And she just went nuts about that. I'm not giving anybody that kind of money. I'm not giving them that kind of commission. That's just wrong. Well, everybody's good at something. And what galleries are supposed to be good at, if you get into a good gallery, their skill, you guys, is to sell your artwork. That's what they're good at. Okay? That's absolutely what they're good at. And that's what you want them to do. So, they earn their money. They earn their money as long as they're not dishonest. And I'm not saying that all galleries are dishonest, but there has been a time, so when everybody's, I can just, over the years, I've had a few that have been less than perfect. How's that? As far, they seemed all right at the time, but they weren't. In fact, one gallery I had in Las Vegas, this was really funny, big art show, and my agent put me in there too, and this was a big deal agent. And this guy was such a crook that he ended up on Judge Judy. Somebody took him. No kidding. I mean, what does that tell you? You know what I mean? He was on Judge Judy. And those of you who don't know it from somewhere else and you don't know who Judge Judy is, she's this kind of, what is she? What would you say she is?
She was a TV court.
She's TV court, and everybody agrees to follow her rules, and she would show you. It's not real court, but they do it like that, and everybody agrees to abide by that, right? Okay, so I'm starting to warm this up. Dry brush a little of this on top, so you barely touch it. I don't know if you can say it's
not real court because it's followed by the rules and laws.
It's followed by the rules and laws, but I mean it's not an official U.S. court. All right,
well,
is it? Do you think it is?
I think it is.
Well, maybe it is. I mean, I don't know. Somebody would have to tell us that. I don't know, John. I've got to.
Well, no, I don't either. I mean, I don't know Judy.
I mean, I don't know. But in any way, he ended up on Judge Judy, and that's a wow.
Did he lose? Do you know?
Well, of course he lost, and he was just sitting there, lying through his teeth. We all watched it, I'm sorry, but, I mean, I got my art, I was lucky to get my artwork out of there. Let me say that. I was very lucky to get my artwork out of there. This has to be a little straighter. I had it curved, but it needs to be straight right there, okay? See what I'm doing? So now I'm just trying to working on the shape. Now, if I I'll just turn this back around now.
Hey, we do have a question from Steffi.
Yeah.
Does Ginger have a book for sale with her artwork in it?
We're going to be having. We're working on a book now, and we'll have it soon. I used to have a book for sale with my artwork in it, and the publisher went out of business that I got it printed at, and I don't know if we even have that file anymore, John. The Art of Thought, that one I have, The Art of Thought, which I really love that book, but I don't know that we have that anymore.
We may have to recreate it.
We have to recreate it. So I did have one. All right, do you see how I'm coming back here now? And there's a color. I'm going to get it out and use it. You hear me kind of flopping around here looking for stuff.
Somebody asked a question and went flying by. Hold on a second.
What?
Can Ginger show us how to make a stretch canvas of our own?
Yeah, and just go right on to go over to YouTube on my channel, Ginger Cook. Right now you're on my channel, right? So pop over and look for Stretching a Canvas by Ginger Cook, and I'll show you how to do it. It's real simple. I show you exactly how to do it.
Did you change the color? You were going to get a color. Did you change it?
I was looking for that one and I didn't see it. You know what I mean? There was a new color. I wanted Naples yellow.
Oh, that's that really soft, squishy.
Yeah, and it's just the one without the cap, that I had floating around here with John today.
It was in that group on the left. It was in that group.
My other left,
yeah,
you mean?
This
one? I thought it was too. Oh, here it is. It's hiding under papers. All right, little Naples yellow. This is a neat color.
You're going to need to get some more of.
Here, yeah, all right. So now I'm going to rinse the brush and put that for some highlights, right? So we're starting to add highlights now. Here we're going to go brush that on there like this.
Back out a little bit so I can see what you're doing. Oh yeah, look at that.
Barely touch it, right like that. And then come over here like this, put it on this pot here in a couple places. Brighten it up. just here, a bit here on this bottle. See, just it's a little bit brighter. Let me just see where else I would have some of this yellow. Maybe around, like I say, the top of this. Let me pinch the. You see me pinch the brush to get the blade back. And I'll put paint just on one side of the brush, and let's just connect that like that. Okay. So yeah, I have something on the website like that.
I didn't watch it. That's an older one, right?
What, this one?
No, the Stretch Your Canvas.
Yeah, that's really old. That was the one of the first videos I ever made. We should probably do a new one.
That's what I was thinking.
We should do a new one.
But
you know, at one time, this was put up by the first person that helped me do my video. And at one time, I had 750,000 views on that before she, stopped her YouTube channel. Let's just see how this is sort of coming around. Isn't that nice? I mean, this isn't, this isn't.
Moving back out, let's see them together.
Yeah, just, back up. Yeah, see, I mean.
Yours looks so much better. I don't think Vincent could hold a candle to your work.
Oh, yes, he could, but I appreciate it very much, John. But I do think but you get the idea of how, I think this is, don't be intimidated by this. I think you've got a good shot at painting this in.
You got $1.40 in it right now.
What, an hour and 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Well, we've been chatting, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We had about 15 minutes worth of talking at the beginning.
We were going to try to do this in an hour 30, but I think we did reasonably well, all right?
Well, I guess that video was that was 2 years ago, the video, we posted it.
Yeah, we posted it up 2 years ago.
But it's older than that.
But it was done about 10 years ago. It was done a really long time ago. See, and I'm sort of lightening up this now here with a little bit of red on the shoe here. Like this. See, I'm just starting to put some color on this shoe here. Okay, and then back down under here, I want this a little lighter. Okay, this is all about, I can't say this enough, this is all about layers. You know what I mean? And look, this the top of this shadow's coming up here from the bottle, like that. See right there, a little shadow on from the bottle. All about layering stuff. And I love an angle brush because you can just use the corner and get fine detail. See here, I'm just using the corner of the brush.
That's probably, if you can only afford one brush, that's probably the brush to have.
Yeah, just have an angle brush. And this one is, I think this is a 1/2 inch. I like the 3/4 and the 3/8 inch too. And I'm telling you what, I tell people this all the time. I buy them from these guys too. The brush guys give us a discount of 5% if you use the code GingerCook, all one word.
Yep, one word.
You can get a really cool a discount as opposed to an uncool discount. Well, I don't know. Is there such a thing as an uncool discount?
Oh yeah.
All discounts are cool, right? So let's put let's put some pattern in this vase now.
A friend would like to know, if you paint on a canvas roll, do you stretch the canvas first or paint then stretch?
You generally paint the canvas first and then stretch. Stretch it and then paint it. But here's what the deal is. Suppose you're going to Europe or somewhere on a trip, and you want to paint something bigger than 16 by 20 that'll fit in your suitcase. What you can do is put your canvases in a tube, or just fold them up and then iron them later. Most hotels have irons, right? And then you can take your stretcher bars, and they'll fit in a suitcase, and then you can stretch the canvas in your staple gun, stretch the canvas, paint it, and then take it off the stretcher bars, roll it back up to get it home.
Or take a picture and paint it when you get home.
Well, you could do that too. You're very practical, John.
Well, I'm sorry, it's more logical to me.
I know, but like I spent some time over in Europe, and that was fun, right? To paint that, paint all that. See, I've got a little blue in this. I just wanted a little bit of blue in the pot to make that just a little bit more interesting. I've got a little bit of red back in here. Let's see, what else do I want to do with this? A little bit of this. Let's see, I want a little phthalo blue, and I want a little yellow. And then I've got this little green color, and I'm going to put a little bit of orange in it. Kind of dull it up here. All right, and let's see, can we brighten this? Let's just do this on this wall. Do you guys like that? And I've just dry brush this color on. Just add a little more turquoise, barely touch it. Kind of brighten that up back there a little bit. That's sort of nice. And then maybe let's put a little bit of that, the highlight on this bottle. Okay. And then there's a little bit of light here. Oh, I like that. I didn't see that before, but we're going to add it. I'm going to add some purple.
Yeah, that is a good comment. You say take a staple gun with you. You think you can get that on an airplane nowadays?
Well, not your overnight luggage. You're going to have to check your luggage.
And it's still probably going to question you as they X-ray it and see a big old staple gun sitting in there.
Did I ever tell you what happened with me and Gudrun? I think I did, right? But when I went with my friend Gudrun to Germany one year, and I took an extra suitcase with her. This was before 9/11, but they were still kind of nervous about things, right? Here's a little bit of purple. See, just a little bit of highlight. See on this bottle. Now, that's a little bright, so let me show you how we're going to glaze that back, okay? And then we'll be done with this, and I'll just show you what we're going to do.
Which parts? Wait a minute. Wait. Which is bright? The purple part?
This part here. See, it's too bright.
Okay.
So I'm going to dry it and see what happens.
All right. We got to. I didn't show you guys anything today at all in our student stuff. We do have one piece I want to show you from Leanne. It is from the birthday party. The birthday gift. Remember, you have until the 28th to download that for free. Members or non-members, it's available for free right now until the 28th. Members, you will have it in your area, not as a download, but as a regular lesson that will always be available to you. But it gives you a chance to try one of the downloads for free, see how they work. You have to have a Vimeo account to do that, but it's a free account to have. And you can see, move it to your iPad, tablet, phone.
Well, isn't that pretty? Don't you? I'm back on. Isn't that pretty? I like the purple color she put on the steps and her flowers. I thought that was really pretty.
That's gingerizing.
I think you guys have seen a lot of different ones. Here's the original. I'll show you right here so you can see it again. Here's the original lesson. A lot of different ways to paint this. Last night, I think we showed you someone that did it with lilies on the front. A lot of different ways to plant your garden, but I think this is a fun lesson. And again, bright colors. If you did a big 30 by 40 of that, it would go in a lot of living rooms, and another was not. You keep it neutral; it goes almost everywhere. All right, so see, this is a little bright. So I'm going to just take a little bit of purple and water, I think, and just see if I can glaze over that a little bit. Just a little tiny bit of purple, maybe some ultramarine blue too, and water. There, so it'll still be lighter than the rest of the bottle, but not as light. See how I just sort of toned that down, and maybe I'll just put a little more ultramarine blue on it like this. Just tone that down just a hair. That's a little bright still. Boy, that's let me just wipe that there. Okay, so maybe I'll...
Again, that's what you do to save as by drying it.
Save it as, and then I can just put a little, maybe just a tiny bit of brown over. I want it lighter there, but not that bright. So there you go. I made it lighter and just sort of toned it down. And that's sort of, I like that, and I really like the idea of that, and I like the idea of maybe even a little bit of a light here underneath the bottom of the bottle like this. Now, he didn't have it, but I'm putting it. Guess what?
And why are you doing that, Ginger?
Because wherever there's a light, there's a dark, right?
Absolutely.
So I want a little bit of a light there. See, I think that's a more fun bottle. Do you like that? More fun as opposed to unfun bottles.
You don't want an unfun bottle in your painting.
I don't want an unfun bottle in my painting. Absolutely not. We don't do unfun bottles here, right?
No unfun bottles.
Here,
hey, could you use a, Suzanne wants to know, could you use a glazing medium instead of water?
Yeah, you sure could. You could. Glazing mediums tend to be shiny, so then you'd have to go over it with a matte varnish. You'd have to do a matte varnish with it.
Well, if you're going to do now, if you wanted the whole thing to be a gloss varnish, you wouldn't have to do a matte first, right? Yeah. I mean, on this particular piece, yes, this would be a matte finish because of the vintage.
Yeah.
You want to keep the period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and maybe it would have picked up some orange here from something. I don't know, but I'm just saying that maybe it would have picked up a little color right here. I'm just
probably from the bottle next to it, a little reflection.
Yeah, maybe something. So I'm just going to get some dark bottle.
Glass? Do they have glass in that day?
Of course they had glass.
Of course they had glass.
When
was glass invented?
Oh gosh, hundreds of thousands of years ago.
Thousands?
What happened is I think people discovered glass. You know what? I know we have all this. Can you back out for a minute?
Yes, I can.
So we've got. Let's see. There's some water here. All right, so we have all this, and we've got our little shoes, and I realize that they're kind of hard to tell that they're shoes, right? I mean, I get that because we don't have any shoes like this. And again, you wouldn't have to put shoes in, but whenever you're copying something like Vincent Van Gogh and showing it on the air, right, it probably is good not to get too crazy, right, with it. I mean, at least the first time do it the way, he did it. Sorry, let's just make this, we've still got the handle here on this funny little vase. Brighten this up here, going to brighten up this orange. We're just probably brightening up a few things, right? Kind of just acrylics dry darker. And then I want to take something and, kind of go over the top of the shoe here like this and lighten this up right here. Like that. Part of me wants to add some...
oh, the Egyptians had glass.
Yeah. No, I was starting to tell you that when they're...
the ancients had
when
glass.
lightning hits sand, it turns it to glass.
Right.
So that's people figured out right away that they couldn't create lightning, they could create heat and melt sand and turn it into glass. In fact, Cinnamon's dad, he got it in the divorce. I don't know why, but I wanted it. But it was his. I guess it was his. He found it. Didn't want to be mean about it. But he had this neat rock about the size of about 2 potatoes, and it was had all these like little holes in it, like inside like little balls. That it was where lightning had hit the sand and rain had hit it, created all that. It was kind of a blue color.
That's cool.
And he found it in the desert of Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Just motorcycling across the desert of Wyoming, and he found it. And so I thought that was just cool. Right, now remember, we're going to come across the top of the shoe like this. Okay, like that. Okay, coming around like this. All right, so then we got to lighten up the shoe down here a little bit, like this. This shoe was a little bit lighter over here, like this. See, and here like this. We'll lighten that up. Okay, so here, like this. This has got to be. Top of this was a bit lighter, like that. And this was going this way, and then you can glaze. If you get it too bright, you can glaze over it. But this was. There we go, like that. So look how tiny a line you can get with a brush like this. Isn't that interesting? And then what you have to do with that is just let that dry and then glaze over it. Or I guess I could tap it in here now. It should still show like that. There, I want that little light line there, right there. That little light line around the top of the shoe. I want a little bit of red on here like this. And lighten this up right here. Okay. So, and then part of me, see how this is just an interesting table, but part of me wants to do something completely different. So, all right, we just bear with me. If we all hate it, we can take it off, right? We dried it. Everybody, we've seen how we've dried it, okay? Part of me wants to just add some color to this table. Just something, just up here in the front. And why? Because phthalo blue and turquoise are complements, and I'm just putting a little bit of blue in here. Now that's a little bright. See, when I got there, see if I did, that's a little bright. But what I can do, what happened? Did we just die?
No, just my controller fell down.
Okay, so I'm doing that. Now I will dry that real quick, and then I'll go back over it with orange and push it back. Okay, because I just we okay?
Yeah, we're fine. All right, you can dry it for a little bit. Do you guys think we're going too long now? Ginger's eyesight is fine. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. That shouldn't be up there. I guess when I drop my controller. Don't think we left yet. We're still here.
All right, so thanks for putting that back. Now, if I've got the blue there, all right, so then I'm going to rinse my brush, get the blue off of it, go back to the orange color that I had going, right? Now I've got that blue going underneath here. Now I'm going to just, because it, like this, I'm only can do this because this blue is dry. All right, now I'm just going to just tone that back just a hair, and I think that's pretty. I mean, just a hair. I've got a little bit of blue in here, just kind of barely underneath here like that. See? And I think that sort of makes the this more interesting than just if it was, and again, we're just going to glaze over that right there. Remember I told you that had to dry so we could glaze over it, that little light line. Okay? Same thing here. Same thing here. So okay, so we have any more questions? We're just about finished up with this. I think you guys can see it now. Remember, if you want the traceable for this, we will have it up on our website tomorrow. Guess we should touch the pot here. Okay, we're going to have that up on our website tomorrow. Okay. Do we have any more questions? I think there were some good questions about selling your artwork, pricing your artwork, what sizes sell.
And again, we'll have our again, with the website going down, put us a little bit behind. We're going to shoot for this weekend to have some of Ginger's artwork up for sale. It will be on a silent auction type deal, and we'll have rules up there, or instructions on how to do it if you'd like to buy some of Ginger's original art.
From these classes.
From
and
these
these are
classes.
one-of-a-kind pieces from these classes,
Yeah,
which
some
I
of
think
these
is
are absolutely one of a kind.
and as the classes keep going, I think personally, I can't guarantee it, but I personally think that these will become collector's items, because you'll have the original piece to some of these lessons that we'll have on for a long time, All right, so I'm going to tone that down a little bit there. Did you see that? Just tone that little highlight down a little bit there. Push it back, right? And then right in here, I'm going to come up here like this. Now look here, just going to brighten up this.
Oh, I like that.
Just something, you know what I mean? Just right along here like this. Brighten this up
Yeah.
like this. There we go. And then just kind of come around the bottle here, and then over here, and look around this bottle, there was a little he had, and we'll put it too. On the bottom of this bottle right here, he had a little bit of a light highlight right here. Do you see that? Now that's too bright, so we want a little bit of purple and cad red medium to tone that back. That's too bright, but there was a little tiny bit of a highlight here that disappeared into this. See? Right like that. See? Right there? See how we did that? You just kind of went over it and just you barely see it, but there it is. There's a little bit of a highlight right there.
So
And I'm just kind of looking at his I'm just looking at his picture, and then I think he took this light here, and actually he came a little bit closer to here with this, and he came kind of this way, and then this was really straight right here. This was really straight right here, and then it kind of curved around this bottle like this. The shadow curved like that, and this was very straight like that, see? And then this came back here. It was a little lighter back here, and we're just getting little tiny bits of this paint now, very little on the brush, like that, see?
Let's back here like see that. What we got.
So that, yeah, let's just take that back out, see what we've got. This is a little yellow right here, so I will glaze over that with a little bit of that orange color, just a little bit of orange color and water. See, just a little tiny bit, just glaze over that, the toe. So it's just push back a little bit, same over here. There we go. I think that's pretty good, John. I would say that we've just, could we fool around with this a little bit more? And
a little bit more? Oh, you can fool around with it for hours. I know that.
All right, I'm going to just sort of, get that curve on that going. But there you go. So Vincent Van Gogh's, Crocks, they're Crocks, His
Free
shoes.
Crocs. Can you slip Vincent's back down there so we can have it?
Yep.
This is a reference.
Here, let's move this out of the way now so you can kind of see it. This is our reference. Okay. All right. It would take a couple hours to paint this in, right? So our reference. We notice I add a little more color to the pot. I add a little bit more color to some of the shadow here, like this. I might tone that down just a hair, like that. The shadow, but I like the light on the shadow. I like the light here, on here, and I like the the darks. I like all the purples and stuff, and I see here, now what you do is when you have something like this side by side, I can see right here that I needed a little bit of light right there on the corner of that shoe, just like that. See, there and there, like that, and just a couple places. I just want to come back and add a light highlight, just in a couple places. Well, I'm sorry, but this is what you do. You look at it for a while, right? You take you look at it for a while and say, either I've got to turn on or off the lights. And this is like, it's good to come back the next day, right? It's good to come back the next day.
Here from Lori Cass. Vinnie's Crocks and Pots.
Vinnie's Crocks and Pots. I love that. Vinnie's Crocks and Pots. I mean, because they really are.
The precursor to Crocks.
They're precursor to Crocks. They are. They're just, they absolutely are the precursor to Crocks. And gosh, how did I get that? All right, so I'm looking at that, and you're looking at it going, I don't know, how did you do that, Ginger? Now look, let me show you. See this line? Let's get it right here. This has to go straight across here like this, and this curves right here like this. This has got a curve like this and then come straight like that. I mean, this is a small stuff, but it'll make a difference on how that shoe looks. This is where, drawing it in better would have been good. Tracing the line in better would have been good. Don't you think that would have been a swell idea? But even if you didn't trace it in all that good, there, see? Kind of finished, rounded that little shoe right there. I know I'm being picky, but I'm as picky as myself as I am with you when I do art critiques. All right, back it out. Here we go. Here's our nice bright, orange bottle. I like that very much. Here's our, I like the, kind of the color in the bottles. Really, I mean, I like that a lot.
I think it's probably unanimous. Ginger's taking the win on this one over Vincent. I
just want some color in this. I'm sorry. I want some color in this.
I think he was just limited by his palette.
Well, he was. I just want some color in that one bottle because it's nice next to this one, right? And it just is. It's nice next to this one. I'm just saying it is nice next to this one, and I want just a little bit of color in that because it's since this is bright here. I mean, I want a little bit, but you wouldn't have to put it. I'm just saying that I like it. Right? And then I'll just very gently
when you guys get your traceable, it would be Vincent's actual painting, so you guys can make it just like Vinnie himself.
Yeah, see here, this is what you're going this is what you're going to get. You can make it just the way he did, and you don't have to do it the way I did, right? But I'm just saying that's, I kind of like that. Here, this is the top of that. There's a little shadow that's going over the top of the shoe like this, see? And as I stand back and look at them side by side, I see these things. And that's all. I just see these things as I'm looking, and that's what you do when you're painting stuff. Is you look. So I hope everybody's going to have fun with this for next week. For this members, you guys. This is our picture for this week. Our members on gingercooklive.gallery get exclusive, wonderful lessons each week. And this is this one. This could be painted larger. This is 8 by 10, 9 by 12. No, it isn't. It's 9 by 12.
9 by 12.
But, and I'm messing up your table here, John. Sorry. Already with that. Already we messing up the table, right? Already we messing it up.
I ask you so nicely.
Well, it's nice to want things.
I know.
It's good to have goals.
It is.
It's good to have goals.
And I keep going for them.
I know you should have goals, and I'm a big fan of goals. I'm telling you what, I'm so glad we now are renting our own cloud. I thought, I told everybody who owned a cloud. We actually don't own the cloud. We rent it by the month, but we have our own cloud now. So this should be the last of that nonsense where we have to put up with
them telling us we have too many people.
Yeah, then telling us so we can have as many people as we want now. It's our party. So there,
Yep.
Right?
Our party.
It's our party.
And we want you all to come and join us. For $9.95 or 7 days, you can't beat it, people.
Oh, you can't. You can't.
You're not going to get better art lessons anywhere in the universe. And we're not going to just say the world. We're going to go for the universe.
That's right. I mean, I don't know what they're doing on Mars, but, it's probably hard to get there, so.
I understand the paint is drying very quickly there.
Yeah, so there you go. So that the paint probably dries very quickly on Mars. I kind of like that, and I like all this color in this bottle. I mean, this is the kind of stuff I think it's just fun to do. I hope you guys had fun doing it. And please subscribe. And remember, any comments that you do now will not show up.
They're
gone. Disappear. So any thoughts you have, we love to hear them. And this would have been a good one to do. Oh, yeah, here with the tape. Guess what? See how crooked that is?
Where? Who?
Right here.
Oh, you can square them up.
So I've got to square this one up right here. So if I'm saying this is straight down, right, like that.
That's just such a... That trick alone is well worth the 2 hours of watching you.
Sorry, but that's
I think it's great. To really make it look like a finished bottle. Look at that.
yeah, that's well worth it, isn't it?
It is. It makes all the difference. See, I would be taping everything.
Well, yeah, but you can come back and kind of straighten it up, and you see
Yeah.
that did make a difference. It just straighten up a few lines.
Yeah.
You straighten it up. My bottle's shaped a little bit different than his. His kind of comes down and comes in, and I did mine rounded. Mine's more of an old-fashioned medicine bottle, right? My neck's a little shorter than his,
That's fine.
but it still works, right? So I mean, it doesn't. We're not trying to pass this off as one of his originals, okay? So that's okay. But I like the purple. I have to say, I love the purple in my bottle next to the orange, and I couldn't have. I love the purple in the bottle. I just got to tell you that I like some purple in this bottle. I want some colors in it. Ooh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See? Oh, I really want some colors in this bottle.
You're a color kind of gal.
I am. Yeah. Now look. It just, to me, that's so much happier. I want some purple. Look at that.
We have to have a happy bottle. We told you.
Look at
No
that.
sad
Don't
bottles
you think that's pretty now with a little
Yeah.
bit of the purple in it, and then maybe even up here.
Uh-oh. There she goes.
I'm just saying that maybe even up here next to this orange, I could dry brush on. The shadow's kind of a dark blue, but what if I made it purple? All right. What if I said that was a little bit purple like that? Just, it's subtle. Most people won't notice you did it, and they just wouldn't. But you could just add. I know this sounds kind of crazy, but you can just, if you fool around with this a little bit, you can maybe a little purple in here, a little purple in there in the shoe. It softens stuff up.
Purple here, purple there, purple everywhere.
Well, I'm just saying, it softens stuff up. It's sort of, and then we've got a whiter shadow. See, as I'm looking at both of these, there's a little bit of a whiter shadow that comes out the bottom of this bottle too. See that? Right there, like that. See, it comes around there. We did it, came around there and comes out. So that's what you do, kind of put them side by side. That's the game you play. Where are the differences? What can I find for differences? What would be, a couple of things. What can I take away and not ruin the effect? And if I'm looking at another piece like this, what's the difference, right? And then right here, I want it a little bit lighter because acrylics dry darker. So I'll just dry brush something a little bit lighter right over there like that. So I want that a little bit lighter. Now the shoes are starting to look old because there's absolutely enough layers on them. There, see? And that's why I like the texture on an old bottle like this. Somebody asked about, because you did some texture. Look what happens when I dry brush over those little textured areas. Because that sort of shows up. Okay, just put a little bit more color in this bottle. Makes it a little bit more interesting than an old black bottle. All right, I'll stop and dry. Thanks.
Are you sure?
Well,
Hey, can you clear everything away and just have the finished product there on the nice green?
yeah, I can, and leave it there for a while, because one of the things that really bugs me is I'm looking at a different, I like to watch different, artists on YouTube and see what they're painting, and got some wonderful people out there painting stuff. And one of the things that really that's one of my pet peeves is I want to see
the finished product.
I want to see the finished product for a little bit. I don't want you to just end the video and say, thanks so much, that was fun, bye. I want to see the finished product, right? All right, there's our finished picture, okay? I want to see that. I think that's kind of fun,
Right there.
Van Gogh bottles and old shoes, these are...
It's Vinnie's Crocks and Pots.
Vinnie's Crocks and Pots. I think that's absolutely right, Lori. Thanks for that. I think Vinnie's Crocks and Pots is a
Ginger's
great
painting
name.
is better than the original by Suzanne.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
The
Thank
bottle
you.
is gorgeous by Suzanne.
Yeah, the bottle's pretty, isn't it, with the purple and stuff? Because, again, if you understand how colors work, what's opposite purple on the color wheel? Yellow. So you got some purple and yellow here, and so your eyes are going, ooh. And then orange and turquoise are complements, and your eyes are going, ooh, right?
Going, ooh,
so
ooh.
when you throw that stuff in, everybody's going, ooh. I like the colors, right? And even we put a little turquoise into this green here, dry brush that over, and that little background stuff, right? We added that.
It's a great painting.
And that worked, okay?
Well, guys, look again. This was a ginger snap lesson. It's supposed to be a 20-minute lesson, and it only took us 2 hours to get through this one.
We're sorry.
We're right
sorry.
on
We're
schedule.
sorry it took so long. We're so sorry. But, I would only do anything but, if I'm going to do it, I need to do a good job.
We're going to do it right, or we're not going to do it at all. Right?
Yeah.
That's our
Yeah.
rules.
That's right. We're going to do it right, or we're not going to do it at all. So I think we're okay on that. I mean, I think it was sort of fun, and I already see something else I want to change, but that's okay. Maybe I'll show you next time what it was, right? I want to
Remember, you have
change.
the other one you have to finish, too.
Want to change this little line right there. Just take a second. Just
I
no one will
knew
know.
it.
No one will know. I mean, we'll just tell
All
it.
right,
Take a
pretend
second.
like we're not here anymore. If
Yeah,
you want to
we're
see
just.
what she ends up
I'm
doing,
sorry
you can
because
come
this
back.
really bugs me. This has to come. This line here, right there, this top of the shoe here, like this, was out a little bit further than the back line. All right, so that when I drew this in, this came out a little further like that. Okay, sorry. Right there, right like that. Okay, now let me dry it for a second, and then I'll glaze it back over, and it'll be perfect, right?
All right.
Just gives me a second.
Yeah. Well, there you go. She finished and not. That's how we work here. When you think you're done, add another half hour.
So that doesn't take long. It's the little stuff that doesn't take a long time. Now, to glaze back over it, I'll just take a little bit of Cad Red Medium and water. Now look. There.
Oh, that's nice.
Done.
Nice
See?
art.
That's done, and that's all that took. A little bit right there too, right? We put that there too. I mean, that didn't take long, and that was well worth. I like that color. Do you see that? That's well worth it. All right, so back it up. There we go. See, I just needed to fix that shoe.
Can you score it up in the front, please?
Yeah, and then does this bug you right here?
The white?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. And so what you do?
Well, I figure the frame's going to cover that.
Well, the frame would cover it. Well, what you do is you just you come up here like this and just use it. Just come like that and just just there. See?
Hey, I'm the most valuable employee.
Who is?
Me. Jay LeBlanc says so.
Well, John is the most valuable employee, no question about it. Yeah, the frame would cover all that because you're seeing the side of the canvas, right? Now, this was a gallery wrap canvas, one of those big wide ones. You just paint the color and everything all around the side,
Right.
all right?
Yeah.
You'd paint that all around the side, but I think that's kind of cool, though. You know what we've got going here, right?
Okay, now can we say, are we done?
We're done.
You sure?
Oh, we're done. Do you think we're done? We're done, right? Well, maybe you'll see something I didn't and add it and tell me what you did, right? It's always fun. No two people see the same thing. You know, if we all were looking at, say, a traffic accident in the street, you know, where a couple cars collided, we'd all have a different story about what happened. None of us see the same things.
That's true.
We don't. And that it's a truth saying when they say that beauty is in the behind.
Behind?
Is
Sorry.
is in the eyes of the beholder.
It's been a long day. How much acrylic have you been smelling today?
A lot.
I'm telling
A
you.
lot. I mean, what
You
is
had
this,
2
about 10
hours
hours
with-
in?
yeah.
You know, 10 hours in, whatever.
Yeah, it's a
Been a
long one.
long day. It's time for a candy bar, don't you think?
I'm thinking.
Okay, it's time for thanks you guys. This was fun.
Thanks,
And
everybody.
I would probably sign
And
it right
again,
here.
This is Wednesday's night how-to lesson, a 20-minute lesson with Ginger in 2 hours and 20 minutes. Yay, team.
Yay, team! That was fun, right? Hey, boo boo. It
Sammy,
was
are
fun.
you still with us, buddy, or have you nodded off anywhere? Let's see what you're doing.
Everybody went. Sammy,
Sammy's still up
Sammy's
there.
still there. It was good
Oh,
night,
this guy goes,
Sammy.
Night, Sammy.
Bye, Sammy. Bye, John. Good night, John.
Good night, Ginger.
Great fun, you guys. Bye.
And thanks for
for
being with
watching.
us, buddy. Bye, everyone.